Welcome to Earth Feather Healings and Melissa Windell. And today we have our special guest, Macy with Big Happy Love. Welcome, Macy.
Thank you.
And how are you this fine day?
I'm great.
Good. Well, Macy here is our first featured healer of the month. And so we're just going to do a little amazing interview with our shining light of beauty over there. So Macy, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your business?
Okay. Well, my name is Macy Matarazzo, and my business is the Love Advantage and Big Happy Love. And I've created programs to help single women find meaningful love in their lives. So the programs I've designed are really based on helping women become relationship ready, because sometimes we've collected over time, we've had a lot of failed relationships or heartbreak and frustration, then it can be hard. So that's what I've been doing. And my mission is to eradicate loneliness on the planet, which is kind of a big deal. But I really know from my own experience how powerful it is to be in a sacred, loving partnership. So I truly do want to help others get there too.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. And do you feel that part of your path of being single before meeting your husband has brought you to this point of wanting to help share the lessons that you've learned with others?
Definitely, because it's interesting, because it's not something that we're taught. We're learning about math and science and all these things, but we don't learn about how to create a healthy romantic relationship in our life. And we're really just winging it, when really this is what we as humans are designed to do. Number one is to have connection. But if we don't know how to really cultivate that, then we're missing out on the most powerful thing we have as humans on this planet. And certainly for me, it was a constant trying to figure it out. Who do I need to be like, or what's wrong with me, or what's the trick that I don't know? And as a result, I fell into a lot of unhealthy relationships over time. And then that reinforced it. Oh, well, now there must be really something wrong with me. And so you kind of lose touch with who you really are a little bit. And it's a really painful cycle. And what I noticed too is that I would start settling into a relationship, and next thing you know, I've lost, 3 or 5 years of my life trying to force this to work. And at a certain point, I just realized I don't want to lose any more time. I mean, I completely missed my reproductive years through that struggle. And then once I turned 40, I just said, I'm going to do something different. And I did. And so that's what I'm sharing with people, is the teachings that I really was able to integrate into my own life that helped me break through the blocks that were keeping me from love.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's really valuable, because you're absolutely right that in school we learn all of these bases of how to do certain things, but not really how to interact with the world or to interact with yourself, and how to be more authentic to attract that authentic partner. And me being single for 3 years, I definitely can hear everything that you're saying, where there's so many moments of just feeling like a failure and what's wrong and what do I need to do different, so I could relate to how that would be really helpful for myself, of learning how to, get back to that root of how to make it work. And do you feel like so much of what you teach is how to be in a relationship with a partner as well as with yourself? Because my big block personally is kind of exactly what you said, that I feel like when I do get in a relationship, I lose myself and my power, and I feel out of balance, and then I have to go back to being alone so I can figure out how to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally hear you. So I do believe it's really a lot about just standing in your relationship with yourself and strengthening that, and even discovering that for a lot of people that is kind of unknown. And I didn't even realize that about myself, because I personally had done a lot of personal development work. I've been in that field of learning since I was 16, and yet I still hadn't really figured out how to put those practices in action. And I was responding a lot from the external world. And it is easy to get into a relationship and lose track of, our own personal relationship and taking care of ourselves and listening to ourselves, because I think it's easy to think, well, I don't want to lose this. I got to figure out how to keep this, or I don't want to do something that's going to ruin this or scare this person away. And it's really based on our subconscious beliefs about ourselves. And that's not something that we can always just figure out on our own, because it's hard to see when it's just ourselves. So I had to get a lot of support to have help seeing where I was kind of tricking myself. So yeah, I mean, developing this relationship with yourself is a huge part of it. Being able to listen deeply, which I know is a lot of the work you do with clients. And then from there, having that confidence and security in yourself, you create a different kind of attraction, and from there you're creating different kinds of relationships.
Beautiful, beautiful. And when you are working with these women, what are a couple of stories or examples that you could share with us that you've seen that beautiful turnaround?
Yeah, I mean, what I see all the time are women who are really caught up in fear and insecurity, and maybe have had really bad relationship experiences in the past, and it almost feels like, how could it ever be any different moving forward? And once we do the work that I do, because it really is personal. I mean, everyone has their own specific insecurities and challenges, but on a universal level, it's how do we really honor our own personal value and worth. And once women can really cultivate that self-love and know that they are valuable, and know that this is really about them creating their own life and them going out into the world and really being able to kind of pick their person. And I don't mean oh, I want that guy and he's going to be mine, but feel more in control of their experience, where it's not just, oh, that guy likes me, okay, well, maybe I'll give him a chance, and because who knows if anyone else is going to come along. It's more really living in your personal power, and then finding those authentic ways of meeting people. And when like, for example, I just talked to one of my clients yesterday who, when she first came to me, she was totally classifying herself as socially awkward. And she had a long relationship with someone who just really wasn't a match, was kind of verbally abusive, and they really, she felt completely insecure, and she was able to get out of that, but then really had no idea how to deal with the dating world as it is right now, because when she was dating before, a lot of these tools and all these like applications and stuff didn't even exist. So, you know, we really worked on like finding ways that she could get out into the world that felt like they were her. And she, since, you know, developing her security and confidence and radiance, she met an amazing man. And she's constantly texting me saying how, like, he said this and I just started crying, and he said this and I started crying, and he's like, what's wrong? And she says, I'm just like, they're just tears of joy. Aww. And it's so cute. So, you know, it's often just like one little thing that can be tweaked, and it can open up to a totally new love paradigm. And that's really the most powerful thing. And now she's experiencing so much love and support, and they're really, really a match. And, you know, we have insecurities about so many different things in our lives. And often I'm really surprised when I see such a magnificent woman in front of me and they say they're single, and then they tell me their insecurities. It's like, it's hard to believe, but that's what's going to win. Like those insecurities and those beliefs, that actually is what you're going to see in your world. And until you heal that at a, you know, deep level, nothing's going to change. So it's just such a gift to be able to witness love.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I love that. And there's that piece about like harnessing in on those insecurities as kind of like the magic token of shift, really, that kind of helps bring you to that fruition of love. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And do you feel like that's part of what keeps you loving and being passionate about what you're doing, is because you get to see these beautiful, strong, amazing women flourish in the world of love like they deserve once they move out those insecurities, and you get to see them rise to a whole different level?
Yeah, on so many levels, because I mean, in the world right now, we need each other. We need more love. We need more women who are in their power and strong and bringing their gifts into the world. I mean, this isn't just about having a partner. This is about really being able to be in the world on purpose. And if we have any of these insecurities and feeling like, you know, we don't own our value or we don't own our voice, then there's like more at risk. You know, not only does it impact your happiness and in not being in partnership, but like it impacts, you know, how you attract wealth and how you attract, you know, work that you like, and how you take care of your body and all things. So it's a huge ripple effect on a global level. It's how we parent, it's how we do everything. So it's really kind of not a luxury to figure out this relationship thing. It's a freaking necessity that we get this done, because, looking at our relationships, it's a really clean, clear way of finding our own personal blocks. And there are ways to work, like scientific ways of healing that, proven practices that I'm offering and I do in my own life that transform. So, what are we waiting for, really? We're just going to leave it to default and try to figure it out and continue to flip-flop into crappy relationships. I mean, really, I don't see any reason to not do this for ourselves on a global level. I mean, I know for me, just seeing, like, we're seeing so much fear and so much hatred right now. We've got to be able to bring more love to this.
I agree.
And you're like a really strong representative of that.
Thank you. And I definitely agree. And I feel like everything you're saying, it's like how you show up for yourself is how you show up to the world. And I love that point you brought of, like, we all deserve to be in love and we all deserve to have a partner. And, it's clicking in my head as you're speaking that it's like, it's not a desire, it's a necessity. Like, we were born with physical parts to have mates, and we are one of the our existence, we were born with hearts and souls to connect with other human beings and body parts to co-create and to enjoy pleasure. And I feel like I want to say, like, our God-taken right, but our birthright, our human right to have that partner. And the more you can receive that partner's love, just the happier you can be in a fully abundant life that crosses all rivers. It does. It crosses the river of relationship with self, relationship with your family, relationships with partners, with children, relationships in your work world, and how you show up, really how you show up. That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. So with that, if you want to find yourself in some more big, happy love, you can check out Macy. And Macy, is your website bighappylove.com?
It's bighappylove.com or theloveadvantage.com.
Love Advantage. And what does it look like to work with you? Is it like one-on-one sessions? Is it like over a course of months? How does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, I offer private coaching, which is over either I offer a 6-month option or a year-long option. And that way we go through the full transformational relationship readiness process and be able to actually integrate practices. I mean, we're creating new habits. So we're creating new habits in our brain around, how we think about ourselves and releasing the lies and disempowering beliefs and really shifting to a completely new love vibe.
And I love that it is a longer period of a course training with you, because it takes a while to retrain those neurological pathways of being cheated on, or of having your heart broken, or feeling like a failure. All those are little beliefs that our nervous system now is integrated in our being. So that 6-month to a year-long process, I mean, even if you find your partner sooner in that place, I could still see how that you would still need that length of a course, because it takes that time to create a lasting, sustainable, long-term change that can support that relationship long-term.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what I see in the people who work with me longer. are, often it's like becoming relationship ready, meeting someone, then cultivating that relationship, because even the people who are in happy relationships want to ensure that they're not falling into those old patterns. And then there's different levels of communication as you navigate, like moving into it with each other, and all sorts of different aspects. I mean, I want to see women be successful in the relationships. It's not only just getting there, but to actually develop it in those first 90 days, a very sensitive time, which you're creating foundations of how you are with each other. Mm-hmm. And that's a really big deal too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Macy, really quick, do you ever work with the males? Do you ever do one-on-ones with them?
I have worked with them before. I mean, I primarily focus on women, but I definitely have had a couple special men reach out to me, and I've worked with them too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's so important in this next era of evolution for us, is because, and I'm sure you've noticed this, that the men are becoming more in touch with their feminine side and their sensitive side and their emotions, and there's been so much more permission for men to have emotions. And so I can only imagine that what you do could help blossom men as well. So if you're a man out there and also feel Macy's love and feel like she could support you, they shouldn't be afraid to reach out, right? They could still.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Macy, and
thank you.
Thank you for being our featured healer of the month. And please reach out again if you want to indulge in your big happy love in this beautiful life and really have what you're made out to be. Yeah.
Yes, big happy love to you.
Yes. Thank you. Many blessings, Macy, and have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye.